At our company, we are committed to providing the safest and most comfortable working environment as possible. As a part of that commitment, we have developed an extensive safety program to help ensure your health and safety on the job. The purpose of this video is to provide a brief overview of topics important to your safety, health, and success. It doesn't matter if your job is in manufacturing, service, retail, education, or any other industry. The same basic safety principles apply. This video is just the beginning. You will receive more training from your supervisor or trainer. Please watch and listen carefully. You are expected and required to arrive at your workplace on time and prepared to do your job to the best of your ability. Please observe all company dress code and hygiene policies. These policies are in place to protect the safety and health of all employees, associates, contractors, and visitors. Of course, reporting to work under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or controlled substances is absolutely prohibited, as well as possession of these substances on company premises or while conducting company business. If you are taking prescription medication that may affect your ability to operate equipment or to do your job safely, notify your supervisor immediately. We prefer to use the term incident instead of accident. This is because an accident is defined as an unforeseen, uncontrollable event. However, research has shown that most workplace accidents are incidents that could have been controlled or prevented if proper procedures or rules had been followed. The goal of our training program is to identify and make employees aware of potentially unsafe practices and conditions. The goal of all employees should be to follow these rules and procedures to the letter. Report any injury or chemical exposure, no matter how small, to your supervisor immediately. First aid or medical treatment will be provided as necessary. If any chemical is splashed in your eyes, use the emergency eye wash located in your facility. Flush your eyes for a minimum of 15 minutes. Of course, if chemicals get on your skin, wash the area thoroughly with soap and water. You should also report near misses so an unsafe condition can be changed or fixed, preventing someone else from being injured later. All incidents will be investigated thoroughly to learn the facts and to prevent future incidents from occurring. Good housekeeping practices are not only mandatory, but prevent incidents and injuries. Keep work areas clean and uncluttered. If you see a spill, clean it up or notify a responsible party immediately. Many serious injuries are caused by slips and falls. Make sure all tools and equipment are properly stored in their correct places at the end of every shift. Make sure to report broken or damaged equipment to your supervisor immediately. Not only is it a bad safe work practice, but it is also a serious safety violation to block any emergency exits or electrical panels. To prevent fires, all electrical panels must have 36 inches of clearance. Fire sprinklers must have at least 18 inches of clearance to work effectively in the event of a fire. Remember, good housekeeping is not only important to employee safety, but to visitors' safety and well-being as well. Simply defined, ergonomics is a science that seeks to adapt tasks, tools, and working areas to fit the person, instead of forcing the person to fit the job or equipment. In today's workplace, technology has changed the way people work. Jobs that once required a person to move around during the workday regularly now can often be done at one workstation. As a result, many workers stand or sit in the same area doing repetitive tasks for most of or their entire shift. If the work area or furniture is poorly set up or the person uses incorrect working techniques, there is an increased chance of developing cumulative trauma disorders or CTDs. CTDs are a group of disorders characterized by wear and tear on tendons, muscles, and sensitive nerve tissue related to repetitive activities over a long period of time. Examples include carpal tunnel syndrome and tendinitis. Symptoms of CTDs include tingling, numbness, chronic and worsening pain, decreased grip strength. Several factors can increase the risk of developing CTDs. The most common are repetition, force, and awkward postures. Repetition is a motion that is repeated over long periods of time throughout the workday. Examples include keying and computer data entry. Solution: take short 2 to 3 minute breaks several times throughout the day to stretch or rest if you are doing a repetitive activity. Force is the exertion required to complete a motion or task. Examples would be writing with your fingers tightly pinching the pen, pressing down too hard when filling out multi-copy paperwork, or striking keys on a computer keyboard too hard. Solution: be conscious of the actual force needed to complete a task. Once you catch yourself using too much force, simply ease off. After a while, using the proper force will become second nature. Awkward postures are postures that move the body out of its natural alignment, which increases the demand on or strains certain areas. Working on a keyboard with the wrist bent or bending your back at the waist are examples of awkward postures. Solution: keep your body in its natural alignment as much as possible. If a task can't be done safely, don't attempt it. Ask your supervisor for assistance or direction. When you think about it, material handling is a major part of your job responsibility. Efficient and safe handling of office supplies, boxes, or any other object you may encounter greatly contributes to the success of our company. More importantly, proper material handling will help keep your back healthy and injury-free. Proper body mechanics is simply keeping your body in a proper position that keeps the back in its natural curvature, with all body parts working together without discomfort or injury. Your spine is composed of discs, vertebrae, nerves, and the spinal cord. Each disc is a circular pad filled with a gelatinous substance under pressure. The disc looks like a soft hockey puck. The discs work like shock absorbers and provide a linkage to the vertebrae or bones, and keep the vertebrae from touching or rubbing together. As you work and move, your discs are moving, just like shock absorbers in a car. But when the back is bent, the disc and nerve roots are put in a vulnerable position. The disc can become damaged over time by excessive bending, turning, or twisting. When this happens, the disc can spring a slow leak. As the fluid leaks out, you lose disc pressure. When you lose disc pressure, the disc can no longer cushion the vertebrae or separate the nerve roots. This means one thing: extreme back pain. You will be trained in material handling techniques specific to your job, but here are the basics. Stand as close to the load as possible with your feet comfortably apart. Bend at the knees and get a good palm grip on the object. Bring the load close to your body using a smooth motion. While keeping your back in its natural curvature, stand up, using the powerful muscles in your legs to do the work. To put an object down, reverse the procedure. Here it is again in slow motion. "99.9% of the time, a slip and fall is a preventable incident. Why? Slips and falls generally occur if someone is not paying attention to where they are walking, or that person is moving too fast for floor or lot conditions. Both of these causes are preventable. Whenever possible, avoid walking through puddles, oil spots, or on uneven surfaces. Stay within designated areas. When it's raining or snowing, slow down. Look out for patches of ice and wear approved footwear with good traction. Be aware of changes in the floor surface, such as going from a parking lot to a carpeted office, or to the smooth floor of a warehouse or service center. Basically, pay attention and keep your speed down, and you should be okay. Wear required and appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses or goggles, when handling or using any chemicals. Avoid direct contact with or inhalation of chemicals. Open and dispense chemicals carefully, and according to manufacturer instructions and company procedures. The idea of personal protective equipment is to reduce exposure as much as possible. It's also part of your job responsibility. Different types of jobs require different types of eye protection, from basic safety glasses to face shields and special welding face and eye protection. You will be issued the proper eye protection for your particular job, but it is your responsibility to wear it when required. The same is true for hearing protection. There are many different levels and styles of hearing protection, from simple foam earplugs to special headsets. All you have to do is use the equipment. For more information, or if you have any questions, ask your supervisor immediately. Your eyesight and hearing are far too important to put at risk. During repair or maintenance, certain types of equipment or machinery not only need to be turned off, but the equipment must be completely de-energized, and locks or tags must be applied to the energy isolation devices or switches. This is to prevent accidental starting of the equipment while it is being fixed or maintained. Employees performing such tasks are required to lock out and tag out if they can be injured by unexpected energization of the equipment. All energy sources must be effectively controlled, including electric, pneumatic, hydraulic, and steam. Any residual pressure must also be relieved as part of Lockout Tagout. If there are multiple individuals working on the equipment, they must each apply their own locks and tags and control their own key. Under no circumstances should a lock or tag be removed by anyone other than the person working on the equipment. All tools should be in good condition and meet all applicable OSHA standards. All guards and safety devices must be attached, and attachments such as grinding wheels must be in good condition. As with extension cords, hand tool power cords must be free of exposed wires, worn insulation, or taped repairs, and they should be securely fastened to the plug. The ground plugs should not be broken off. They are there for a reason, to protect you from electric shock. Make sure to regularly inspect all hand and power tools to ensure they are maintained and in good condition. Please be sure to report any problems or defects to your supervisor. You work with potentially hazardous materials and chemicals every day. Cleaning supplies, oil, detergents, solvents, gasoline, and many others. You may use some of these same basic chemicals in your home. A hazardous chemical is defined as any chemical that poses a physical or health hazard. Physical hazards include such things as combustible liquids, compressed gas, explosive or flammable liquids, or oxidizers. Health hazards include those chemicals creating either acute or chronic health effects. This includes basically anything that can damage the eyes, lungs, skin, or mucous membranes. Of course, each chemical has varying degrees of hazards, and for that reason, it's critical for you to read and follow the instructions and warning labels on all chemicals. The container or label is the most obvious source of information about the chemical, but it is often the most overlooked. Before you use or handle any chemical, take a minute to read all of the information printed on the container or label. Then follow the instructions. Make sure that all of smaller portable containers of a chemical are properly labeled. Generally, every chemical must be labeled with the contents. Frequently, chemicals are shipped in larger containers and transferred to smaller containers. But the smaller containers that you use may not be labeled. It's up to you to properly identify and label the contents of all chemical containers. Small containers of chemicals should be stored in a UL or factory mutual approved flammable liquid storage cabinet, which is to be kept closed. Although the label provides important information, it cannot include all of the information about the chemical. The chemical manufacturer produces material safety data sheets, or MSDSs, to list all of the important details about a particular chemical. Material safety data sheets are available for every chemical used on the job. The MSDS serves several important functions. The information on the MSDS is used by management to determine the type of safety equipment needed to protect against potential hazards. The information is also the basis for policies and procedures to reduce potential physical and health hazards, including how to safely use, store, handle, and dispose of a particular chemical. In the event of a fire, life safety is always the main consideration. Alert people to get out of the building immediately. Do not wait. Small fires turn into big fires in the blink of an eye. If you can extinguish the fire with a fire extinguisher, then do so, but call 911 first for backup. The fire department won't mind responding to an extinguished fire, and if the fire gets out of hand, they will be on the way. When using a fire extinguisher, be sure to stand about 8 to 10 feet away from the fire. If you are too close, the pressure from the fire extinguisher can actually spread the fire. Remember the acronym PASS, P-A-S-S. It stands for pull the pin, aim the nozzle at the base of the flames, and sweep from side to side. PASS. This is the best method for putting out a small fire. Each location has an emergency evacuation plan and map to use in the event of a fire, spill, or natural disaster. Again, your supervisor will provide further information about what to do and where to go in the event of an emergency. That's about all we can cover in this short safety overview. This is just the beginning. At our company, safety training is an ongoing process. We will do our part, but personal safety is also your responsibility, and all the rules, regulations, policies, labels, or material safety data sheets won't do any good if you don't take the responsibility to perform every job safely. Safe practices will reduce accidents and injuries, and make sure to take safety techniques home with you. Thank you for your attention, and work safely every day, every shift.